Hello everyone, the topic of this video is if the Supreme Court, in a new case they're hearing, if they decide to overrule Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. And Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, it pretty much mandates that states have to draw majority minority districts in states, basically. In every state, if the minority population reaches a sufficient amount of population. Typically, I'll give an example for how it works. In Louisiana, around a third of Louisiana is black. So they have to have a third of their congressional districts have to be majority minority districts to give black voters a chance to elect a candidate of their choice. So that's basically how it works. So if the Supreme Court were to decide to overrule Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, it would result in the Republicans gaining 12 seats in the House of Representatives. So this is the current map. I factored in Missouri, California, Utah's redistricting, Indiana's, Ohio's, and I'm already factoring in North Carolina's because that seems like a pretty done deal. So let's take a look at what the states would look like if the Voting Rights Act Section 2 was overturned, which would almost certainly give Republicans a very high likelihood of winning the House of Representatives, because then Democrats would have to win such really likely red districts, basically. So let's go into this. Starting off with Louisiana, we would see two Democrats drawn out of this state because they could kind of easily make a pretty safely red map. In Mississippi, they could definitely draw out one Democrat out of this state. Alabama, they could draw out two Democrats in this state. I've seen some maps that showed they could even make them safe red districts. In Tennessee, the map would look very weird. It would be a lot of lines to draw out the 9th district, but they can do it. And they definitely would if the VRA Section 2 was overturned. And already Republicans have a House majority. In Georgia, they could go very aggressive. They could draw out even two Democrats out of this state, but I really doubt it because that's kind of gambling with Atlanta. Atlanta's definitely shifting towards the left still. A lot of suburbs there still shifted towards the left, while other counties shifted to the right. So I don't think they'll go after a seat in Atlanta. I think they'll leave that alone. But I do think they'll draw out the 2nd district if that were to happen. In South Carolina, they could make this a fully Republican map. So they would definitely draw out the district there in South Carolina. Then we head down to Florida, and they could really go very aggressive in Florida. We could see them leave just only 4 Democrats on this map of the current 8 Democrat delegation. But that would involve them taking a lot of risks in Miami. So starting off, they can go after the 9th district. They can pack a lot of the voters from the 9th into the 10th district if the VRA is overturned. That would make it a likely red district. They could also go after the 14th district, but that involves them drawing a lot of complex lines here, and that would possibly jeopardize the 13th district getting more competitive. So I think they're just going to leave Kathy Castor alone for now, considering she outperformed Harris by 7. That'd be kind of a gamble to really go after her district when she might win re-election anyway in a likely Trump district. Darren Soto, he also outperformed Harris by a pretty large amount. So he could manage to hold on to re-election even if it is a likely Trump district. So that's another possibility. So I would be putting this down to lean Republican. In Miami, though, they could either decide to make 2 safe Democrat districts and like 3 lean red ones, or they could decide to pretty much do, I'd say, just leave 3 blue districts intact, make them all safe blue, and create 2 likely red districts. That's another way they could, well, actually, no, they would only, yeah, they could do 2 likely red districts. So starting off, the 23rd is the most competitive district in Miami, so they could definitely draw out that seat. In the 20th, it's already very Democratic, but they could make it pretty much a Democrat voter pack here. So that would mean the 22nd Well, actually, on this map, the 22nd stays alive. So it'd really be the 25th district that they draw, because that's only D+5. So it could take some areas from that district to make it likely red. So overall, Florida could result in Miami only having 3 Democratic seats instead of 5. So they minus out 3 Democrats here. They could also go for 4 if they want to play really risky, but that would involve turning these 2 likely red seats into lean red, which would turn the 22nd into a lean red seat as well. So it'd be 3 lean red seats, and there's a possibility Democrats win all 3 if it's only lean red. So I doubt they would go for something that risky. I think they'll play it safer than that. So this would get Republicans up to 224 House seats. Democrats still could win a majority. They would have to really flip seats, like Colorado's 3rd. Maybe go after Valadeo, try to win that seat. They could win Pennsylvania's 8th. They could go after New Jersey's 7th. They could go after Michael Lawler. They still have ways to get to a House majority. They would also have to win the popular vote of the generic ballot by around 4.5. I would say about 5 points. They'd have to win the generic ballot by 5 to win a House majority, according to the New York Times article I've read. So this would be definitely detrimental to black representation. A lot of those districts that were removed here have black representatives. So this would definitely hurt black representation in Congress with them removing so many of them on this map. So kind of would be a step backward, honestly, if the Supreme Court were to strike down the Voting Rights Act, Section 2. But again, it's kind of 50-50 the case. So if they do it, we're probably going to see some pretty horrendous congressional maps. Even in blue states, we're going to see them respond back. We could probably see even worse maps in like Illinois. We might see an even worse map from them. We could see even worse lines. Like maybe they split Chicago more ways than they already have already. So it would kind of be a net loss for compact congressional districts, because those will be thrown out the window at that point as well. So it would definitely be negative for congressional maps. We'd definitely see a lot of changes in safe blue states. They would try to redraw the maps, definitely for 2028, so Democrats don't have to win the generic ballot by 5 to win Congress again. But right now, Democrats are leading the generic ballot by about 3. So it's conceivable they could still win a House majority if this map were to pass. But right now, they've been kind of stuck at 3 for quite a while, and it seems like America's in a lot of partisanship lately, and I think that generic ballot's probably going to remain at 3 for the rest of the season, honestly. So, yeah, if this case were to go forward and Supreme Court were to overrule Section 2 is unconstitutional, that would definitely put the Republicans as the favorites to win the House of Representatives. So, other than that, thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.